think back when you were at school. Was there a teacher you just really didn't like? What was it about them that you didn't like? Maybe they set too much homework, or maybe they were boring. I bet that for the majority of you, it was the way they spoke to you and how that made you feel. Hi everyone, I'm Natalie from MyProgression, and today we're going to be exploring tonality in the classroom. What it is, why it's important, and what impact positive tonality can have on your students' learning. But first, what is tonality? Tonality refers to your tone of voice when you're speaking. This is a means of communication where people can interpret your thoughts, feelings, or expressions through the emotional quality of your voice. In essence, it's how you sound when you say the words out loud and how that can make people feel. According to psychology professor Albert Mehrabian, only 7% of meaning is communicated by words, 38% is communicated by tone, and 55% by body language. This means that people rely on being able to interpret your tone of voice to fully understand what you're communicating to them. If this isn't clear, messages or instructions can be misconstrued, leading to confusion, frustration, or misinterpretation. In a classroom, tonality can be the difference between an engaging, positive atmosphere or a place where students are worried, intimidated, or underperforming. Research has shown that strict-sounding teachers are worse at inspiring a classroom than their warmer colleagues, and that controlling tones can cause students' self-esteem to plummet. By fostering a positive and supportive tone in your classroom, you're nurturing an inclusive atmosphere where students feel engaged and motivated to learn, as well as promoting effective communication and relationships. I remember when I first went to high school, I had a maths teacher who was really good, clearly knew her stuff and planned her lessons well. But she just terrified me. She was so sharp and strict. I only lasted 1 year in her class and then was moved down a set because I just wasn't learning. So why is positive tonality important? A groundbreaking psychological study from the University of Essex and the University of Reading of hundreds of children showed that controlling sounding voices didn't gain cooperation from students aged 10 to 16. The study discovered that the pupils faced with stricter teachers were more likely to rebel, their well-being was negatively affected, and they were less likely to reveal they were facing a problem such as bullying or feeling isolated. In simple terms, students felt they were unable to express themselves when confronted with harsher, more controlling tones, whereas a supporting sounding voice inspired a connection with their teacher, increasing their overall intention to cooperate. By ensuring that your tone is positive and appropriate for the situation, you're not only encouraging respect, empathy, and active listening from your students, but you're also being a positive role model for every student in your class. Remember, this may be the only time that some of your students feel they have safe, non-judgmental space to be in. So by using positive, affirming language to set the tone for your day, and offering constructive feedback and reinforcement will ensure you have their full attention and cooperation from the get-go. Also, don't be afraid to use your own humour and creativity to set the tone with your students, as long as it's appropriate. For younger students, you could use your tone of voice to make your lessons more stimulating, getting your students' attention by using an excited tone about what you're going to explore. For older students, you can use your tone to build suspense in your English lesson, whilst they wait to find out if Lenny in Of Mice and Men ever does get those rabbits. Spoiler alert, it's not a happy ending. A great way of ensuring you have a positive tone is smiling. Have you ever tried to sound grumpy while smiling? It's really hard to do. Give it a try. If you want to sound supportive, then simply dropping your volume and pace will help slow down the conversation and allow time for your words to resonate. You do have to be careful with this one, as it can come across as patronising, especially if combined with a head tilt and pursed lips. To create excitement, speed up your pace and widen your eyes. It really works. Now, what is the impact of positive tonality in the classroom? A study published in the British Journal of Educational Psychology explored the impact of teachers' tone of voice on children's education. They pre-recorded teachers' voices and played them to 250 children who were then asked to judge how the tone affected them. The research showed that children reacted much better to supportive tones, while controlling tones affected their self-esteem and were perceived as less trustworthy. Professor Pullman, the head of Department of Psychology at the University of Essex, concluded, "We often think about what teachers say to their students, but we rarely talk about how they say it." She also said the tone of voice teachers use really matters, and the way we modulate our voice can have profound effects on our listeners. Some of the effects that a positive tone of voice can have on your students include increased focus and attention, higher levels of participation and involvement, as well as enhanced knowledge, retention and understanding. Supportive tonality can have a positive effect on the way that your students feel about themselves and how they interact with others. A supportive tone of voice is proven to reduce stress and anxiety, improve self-confidence and self-esteem, and also enhance social interactions and collaborations overall with other students, friends, or family. So does this mean if you're faced with challenges or behavioural issues in the classroom that you can't address them? Of course not, but you should always try to look to address any potential issues by maintaining a positive tone and approach. We know that disruptive or negative behaviours can easily grow out of control, which could result in the students' learning being impacted or even putting students in danger. In those situations, we must take it seriously and handle the challenging behaviour appropriately. For more guidance on how to handle challenging behaviour, view our MyProgression video on the Ignore, Challenge, Divert method. And while you're there, like, subscribe and click on the bell to keep seeing more videos from MyProgression. But how can you use tonality to diffuse the challenging behaviour before it's even happened? Positive tonality means you can tailor your instructions to meet individual students' needs to manage their behaviour, or it can be used to implement and manage a proactive classroom for all your students. For example, instead of using "Andrew, stop shouting," try using a calmer tone to redirect them, such as, "Andrew, we need to use our quiet voices inside. You can shout when you're on the playground." We all know how difficult it can be to remain calm when students are pushing your buttons, and look, it's not easy to do. You need to be in the right headspace about the behaviour. Firstly, remember that all behaviour is communication, and sometimes kids are just being kids. You getting annoyed isn't going to help a situation. It's only going to make it worse. Frustration will make you sound harsh. Breathe. Take a moment, as going from a generally positive and supportive teacher to angry teacher will be quite jarring for your students. By using a positive and supportive tone, you can help to address issues they're facing in a non-confrontational way. You may have a student who's having a disagreement with another. So by addressing it with a supportive tone, you're demonstrating behaviour that the students will replicate in the future if they have any more disagreements. By using your tone this way, you're also promoting inclusivity and teaching your students it's okay to disagree, but it's important to be supportive and open to learning about others. The impact of your tone can be far-reaching. My fear around maths still exists. I'm fairly good at maths, but if someone puts me on the spot, I just freeze. Whilst there's many ways to positively impact your students in your classroom, prioritising and cultivating positive tonality in your teaching practice allows you to seamlessly impact the learning of your students, whilst also maintaining a supportive, inclusive environment. Professor Weinstein from the University of Reading said that tone of voice is a powerful way to convey teachers' caring, understanding, or openness. Whilst it's easy to forget the impact of tonality when we're stressed or tired, remember it can be all that's needed to keep students' attention and see their performance soar. I've been Natalie from MyProgression, and if you've enjoyed this video on not sounding strict, then check out the rest of our channel for more on working in education. And let's keep your career in motion.